So I'm finished with my History AQA GCSE paper. I do restoration. What are you?
OCR Elizabethans and crime punishment in history.
Okay, so I just came out my history Edexcel exam.
My Edexcel GCSE History.
Our last exam was history. What's our exam board? Edexcel. Yeah, Edexcel, and we did American West and the Elizabethan era.
Well, Edexcel, you did us dirty there, didn't you?
How did it go for you guys?
It went actually quite decent. There was a lot of questions that I already knew about.
Yeah. What about you?
I was very scared at first, but
Yeah, it was a good paper. I didn't like the second question in the Elizabethan era paper. Like that was crap. The rest was great, and the last question in the Elizabethan era was the best one, about the Catholicism and why opposition increased. That was the best one. I think it was the best one for all of us, to be honest, because we all did that. So that was the best one.
Then we were hit with the 12th marker about Raleigh and the first colony in Virginia. And I just literally wanted to dig myself up in a hole and just die and never come back from the eternity of Earth. And don't even get me started with the Cold War section. I literally had my head in my hand crying for a solid 10 minutes, preparing myself to fail history right here and right now. My predicted grade 6 has gone straight out the window.
I've done migration and Elizabethan England, and it went better than I expected. I wasn't that confident with history, but it went pretty good. I'm really proud of myself. With migration, I answered every single question in the order it was set. So I think it was a 4 marker, then no, not 4 marker, 8 markers, and then 16 markers. The 16 marker.
I have never written so fast in my life. By the end of it, I was writing so quickly I came out and my hand was hurting so much because I'd managed to convince myself in my head that I had more time than I did. The last question took me up until the very last second, but all the questions were nice. I did the one about the government policies, and apparently I'm the only one that did because everyone else was saying they did the changes one. And I did the one on theatres because I know absolutely nothing about Elizabethan explorers or whatever.
With Elizabeth, I started back to front. So I started with a 16 marker, and then I went to the first question and then the second question, and then I missed the third one. I didn't have enough time for that, and I kind of had to pick between doing the second or the third one, and I preferred to do the Catholic plot over writing the account about the poverty.
The restoration was okay. I do Ham House like the question, and I hadn't really been taught it, so to be fair, I think the 8 markers went better for me, and then the 60 marker on the other paper was really, really good. It was the only thing I'd revised, literally, it felt like. So yeah, really, really happy with how that one went. But to be fair, I found there was really stupid questions on that, and it was really, really hard. And and yeah, so I'm okay. Maybe I passed. I'm not sure.
Wow, there was a question on Islamic medicine. I haven't done Islam since like one lesson in year 10 where we did it for like half an hour. So obviously I literally had nothing to write. And also there was a question I got really stuck on, which was the similarities between Louis Pasteur and Alexander Fleming, because there's literally no similarities.
I had Edexcel History today and that went so good. I did Cold War and Anglo-Saxon. Everything I prepared for came up.
So my one was Cold War and Henry VIII, which I was worried about Cold War in case something came up, which I didn't know. But luckily I revised everything that came up. But I think I got down all my key points. I got down all what I wanted to say. I used most of the bullet points. Some of them I changed because I had no clue what it was.
Oh my god, it was amazing. Everyone's finding it really hard. Like all my school are kicking off over Elizabeth, but I thought it was like amazing. We did Edexcel and we did American West and we did Elizabeth. The Fort Laramie Treaty question for American West threw me off a little bit, and so did the theatre question for Elizabeth. But I just spoke about Shakespeare and I spoke about how Fort Laramie didn't work. So I think that was okay. The narrative account was a blessing. Thank God I actually did the narrative account this time. I really, really liked history and I'm feeling really confident about it. And it's made up for the shambles of the crime and punishment paper.
For the exam, I was actually quite nervous, but then when I got to the exam, I was really pleased because the questions were just so nice. However, there's just one question that was worded really weirdly about women's role in the war. It's really weird that I have all my history exams done, and I'm actually kind of pleased history's done.
So yeah, migration for the 16 marker, I mentioned 3 factors. So I think I'll get a pretty good grade for that because I did a good conclusion.
Exam time can be challenging. If you're finding it difficult to cope, follow the links in the description for information on the support available.